That evening, his wife discovered the instructional manual. The lie he had so carefully constructed crumbled in an instant.
何なのこれ。
The argument he'd always dreaded was finally here. He tried to reason with her, to explain, but she couldn't see past the town's harsh judgment.
こんな仕事してるなんて恥ずかしいと思わない。
Her words cut deeper than he could have ever imagined. She begged him to quit, her voice cracking with desperation. It was the first time she had ever asked him for anything so completely, but had, for the first time, couldn't say yes, and his wife responded with a final, heartbreaking ultimatum.
実家に帰る。仕事辞めたら迎えに来。
He reached for her, a desperate attempt to hold on to the life that was slipping away. But his touch, once a source of comfort, was now perceived as a source of contamination. She recoiled as if his hands were poison. In that one devastating moment, he was utterly and completely alone. Having lost everything, he finally decided to quit. But the president summoned him to the smoke-covered attic.
飯どうしてる
In his mind, the goal was simple: escape this life and regain his dignity. But he didn't understand why his boss offered him a plate, a quiet meal in the cold, still air. This display of peace offended his inner turmoil. But the president began to speak, not of work, but of his late wife. She was the first person he ever sent off, the beautiful origin of this lonely profession. Little did he know, this history lesson was about to become a philosophical one. The president held up a piece of grilled blowfish roe, and then other, more profound, truths followed suit. He explained the fundamental law of nature, until finally, the line between the food on their plate and the bodies on their tables blurred, allowing him to see a truth he never considered. Regardless of the outcome of his own life, the value behind life itself was paid for by death, and it cost the world countless creatures immeasurable sacrifice.
生き物は生き物食って生きてるだろ死ぬ気になれなきゃ食うしかない食うんならうまい方がいいうまいんだよな困ったことに困ったことに
And with that one statement, his perception was shattered. His work wasn't dirty. It was the final act of grace in life's sinful, beautiful cycle. On a rare, perfect afternoon, he was finally at peace. He was sharing a beautiful legend with his wife about a time before words, when feelings were sent through stone letters.
石踏み
石分
A fragile memory from a childhood shattered by abandonment. But just as this old wound seemed to be healing, fate delivered a final, cruel interruption.
和子さん宛ての電報です
A message from the past addressed to his deceased mother. Inside, four cold, bureaucratic words. The father who vanished 30 years ago was dead, and the gatekeeper of final goodbyes wanted nothing to do with his own.
30年以上も会ってないんだ
His first instinct was to delegate the pain, to push it away.
それに一緒に逃げた相手に面倒見てもらえばいいんだ
He tried to sever the connection one last time.
とにかく戸籍からはとっくに外れてるし
But everyone who had witnessed his transformation pleaded with him.
最後の姿見てあげてよ。
It seemed the calm he had just found would have to be sacrificed for one last, impossible departure.